everyone. Welcome to Talkin Kop. It's me, Chris Brack. I'm here with Kev and I'm here with Ashley. And it is finished. West Ham 0, Liverpool 2. We've actually won a game and we've kept the clean sheet. All Ashley was a goal from a corner and it would have been the perfect day. But we still have the record for no goals from corners. But let's not dwell on that. How are we both feeling?
Good. I have to turn this off real quick.
Yeah, we're not too bad. Look, truth is, they were rubbish for a side that's coming off the back of 2 wins and a draw. They were at home. They were poor. We weren't good. Let's not kid ourselves. We were all right, and defensively we were okay. They never really threatened us in any meaningful way. But going forward, we finished off a couple of chances. We created a couple of chances, but thought we were all right. Nothing to write home about. As Matt,
we did the basics. We did the basics well, didn't we, Ash?
We weren't shit.
I think you could beat what's in front of you. Yeah. And to be honest, that's been a bit of an issue this season.
The bar was low, but to not be shit is. I'm going to take that as a win. I mean, it was a win. We're gonna live with that. No, it was not the best football we've played all season. It's not the best football that we've seen from this entire team. But you know what? Baby steps. Baby steps. I don't care. No. Like, we need something to work off of. It's a good spot to start.
Well, in fairness, Matt said earlier on, and she's right, it's green shoots. Look, the lineups came out. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I expected changes. Didn't expect the changes that we saw. I was genuinely surprised by them. What about you, Ash? What did you think? I mean, no Salah.
Looked at the lineup, and I'm like, I just need to figure out the way that it's going to look. I think it's what a lot of people have been calling for. The idea, we say it all the time, like, how many times are you going to put the same team out there expecting a different result when there's clearly fragility there? And a lot of people were calling for Gomez. I was really happy to see Gomez on that sheet. I was really happy to see Wirtz fit and playing. And I think, honestly, they were our 2 best players on that pitch. And I think that the idea that you're able to trust the squad a little bit is what we've been looking for from Slot. Give these players a chance that, the ones that haven't been through the ringer. Like, Gomez hasn't had sort of the mentally deflating game after game after game. Same thing with Wirtz because he's been injured. They've had a few games out where they haven't had to deal with just the mental, just absolute, I don't even know what the right word is, but, doom, like, monsoon or whatever. Doom monsoon is what I'm going to go for because I'm really tired. I've got children in the back of my head and we're doing rhymes over here. So that's what we're going to go with. Sorry, everyone in the chat. I'm exhausted and jet lagged. But anyways, they haven't had to deal with that crap over and over and over again. So you have a couple players that come in, they have fresh ideas, they have fresh legs. For Gomez, he looked pretty fit to me for a guy that's getting injections. He looked decent. Is he 100% match fit? Probably not, but he looked better than a, match fit Szoboszlai or Jones that's playing out of position. I thought he looked great at right back. I think that maybe that's the way forward for a little while. Everyone else kind of picked themselves. I don't think that Endo was going to start this game despite the calls for that. I just don't think it was going to happen. Everything else kind of was what I was expecting. I mean, I was glad to see Allison back. That's always kind of a nice comfort blanket. What about you? How were you feeling when you saw that lineup?
I was surprised he dropped Mo, genuinely, because that just doesn't happen. That one threw me. I didn't expect to see Florian Wirtz at all because he hadn't trained. He apparently trained yesterday. He was due to come back and train yesterday, but for him to come straight back in off the back of no real training sessions since the international break, come in and start, that surprised me. Happily, but surprised me. But yeah, when I saw the lineup, I was like, okay, how is this going to play? Who's going to play on the right? And it turned out it was Szoboszlai. I mean, look, Szoboszlai spent a year at Leipzig playing off of the right. The first year, I think he went there, he played off the left. The second year, he played off the right. And he is well capable of doing that. The concern is always going to be, by him playing that position, what do you lose in the middle? But I thought as the game was going on paper he was on the right. In reality, he wasn't. The front three, the Wirtz and Szoboszlai were very fluid. They both had freedom to swap and interchange with each other, as did Gakpo and Isak. The amount of times you'd see Isak floating out onto the left, Gakpo switching into the middle, and that's going to take a lot of work to make sure that looks right, because that was probably the one thing that frustrated me more than anything in the first half, was the amount of times that Isak and Gakpo were looking to take up the same physical space. And it was annoying watching the two of them getting really too close together. But again, Gakpo or Isak has played some like 350 odd minutes in the Premier League for us. It's going to be a work in progress for him. But I think we got a glimpse into how we're going to be playing when Salah's gone to AFCON, and I think you're going to see a lot more of Szoboszlai out on the right. But the key to it was, I didn't expect Joe Gomez to have the ability to get up and down that line as well as he did. And I thought he did really well. Defensively, he was fine. But on the other side of it, he was up and down the line constantly, giving that option. And put in a few good crosses in the first half.
Crosses were great.
Yeah, and accurate. I mean, they were kind of floaty crosses, but they were to someone. They had purpose. And he got the assist at the end, So, but yeah, really happy for him, and a good, solid performance for him. But yeah, the lineup did surprise me. Got to be honest.
Chris, how did you feel about the lineup?
Yeah, it surprised me a little bit. I thought Jones might have come in from McAllister. Salah being dropped to the bench. Look, he's been off form for a while, so you had to try something new. Wirtz was free. I suppose the other option was, would he have also took Gakpo out? But maybe he's probably thought that's too many changes in the attack. It'd be a brand new attack completely. So, and listen, as much as Gakpo isn't flavour of the month at the moment, and he's been in and out of form, the manager could be justified in picking him because he ends up getting the two most crucial moments of the game. But I must admit, there was a few surprises in there. I was concerned how long Gomez would last with all the injuries he's had and not playing. That's his first start since West Ham last season. So I think it says 11 months since he started a Premier League game. So that's a long time. So it'll be a lot of ice baths for Joe. I suppose the only thing with this setup we've done today is how often you're going to be able to play it, because I can't see Joe doing many back-to-backs at fullback just because his body doesn't let him do it.
Even if he played one, we just have to kind of get through this month, because you will have Connor Bradley back. You will have Frimpong back shortly. Even if he plays once a week and you have Jones for the other game, for me, he was a big step up. And the other big step up that we were just talking about, Chris, just because you were out of the show for a sec, was Wirtz. And I thought he was.
That's
fantastic.
the most involved.
He ran the show.
That's the most involved we've got a minute.
It's the best he's looked. And there's a quirky fact that's going around where when you let Wirtz plays the 10 in a Liverpool team, we haven't lost so far. And it's a tiny sample size. But the way that he was able to kind of control that game like a metronome, for me, was fantastic. How did you feel?
That had more shades of the Frankfurt away game, where on paper he was the right-sided attacker, but him and Szoboszlai sort of worked it out between them, because when we tried to make him the free roll on the left away at Palace, it did not work, because as soon as he drifted in, there was nothing covering wide. There's only a handful of times where Gomez got the ball out wide right and I didn't have a winger to pass it. Generally one of Szoboszlai or Wirtz were able to give him an option. He just got loads of touches on the ball, and I think that's a simplistic thing. He seemed to get bumped at quite a lot and seemed to relish it a bit more. He seemed to have got used to the physicality, won quite a few free kicks. I'll say it now, the referee was fucking awful. And he was awful for both sides, because there was some decisions he gave us, and one of the bookings he gave for the midfielders, which was me and Kev both went to clean tackle on Szoboszlai and he booked him. But I thought he dealt with
it's Darren
the physicality.
England. You don't expect much from him.
No, I did think, though, they try and rough him up a bit more, West Ham. West Ham, actually, I thought were a bit timid.
They were a little bit more passive than I thought they were going
very
to be.
un-West Ham. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Very Nuno Espirito Santo. That's what he did for Forest against us.
Yeah.
Sit in, hold deep, see what happens, try to play on the counter. But he doesn't have the pace options at West Ham that he did at Forest. And
credit where it's due. I thought Kirkes did very well against Bowen because Bowen's caused us, not just us, he's caused lots of sides so many issues because he's such a good player. To be fair to Kirkes, I thought he actually defended Bowen very well, which takes some doing. I mean, Callum Wilson was just a traffic cone up front. He was absolutely ineffective, and the German lad they brought on was even worse. But I thought to keep him quiet, Paqueta we kept fairly quiet until he blew up with 5 minutes to go. But we'll come to that later because something about that just doesn't sit right with me, the way he got sent off. Mm-hmm. But we'll come to that in a minute.
Yeah, look, the truth is, we were talking through the first half. I thought going defensively we were solid. I thought defensively we were fine, but that's largely because they couldn't construct a thing. They were poor, and it made it easier for us. But the shape we were playing in, when Alisson got the ball, Kirkes went. He went high and wide. Joe Gomez waited, and then he went. Szoboszlai and McAllister drifted to the fullback positions to be the pass, to be the out ball. Which, in fairness, if you look at Kirkes early on when he was asked to do that role, it's not his role. He really doesn't have a right foot, so he's limited as to what he can do when he's asked to do that out ball roles. But the way he was asked to press up and press high, being that out ball, allowed Gakpo to get inside, but his starting position was narrower. So was Szoboszlai. So it ended up at times where Isak had Gakpo on one side, Szoboszlai on the other side, in a front three within the width of the 18-yard box, supported by Florian Wirtz. And usually McAllister would tend to join some way up, and Gravenberch might get up a little bit closer. But I thought the shape and the balance of the side was a lot better. I mean, it couldn't be fucking worse. It really couldn't have been any worse than it was over the last 3 games. The fact that in the last 3 games we were effectively 10-1 tells you everything about the balance of how we were playing and how we were defending. That today, I thought defensively, the shape we were in, from an attacking point of view, meant the press could be higher up when they decided to go from the back. But when they decided to go long, we dealt with it really well. You know, we won our headers, we won our individual battles, and we were able to turn it out and get on the front foot when we could. The only thing I would say is, as a lot of people said it in the chat early on, we're still built up really, really slow. Now, I understand why.
That was my frustration.
That's nerves, though. It's nerves. It's
trying to pick the perfect pass. They're trying not to make a mistake.
That is the latter. I don't want to be the guy to give the ball away and we get countered.
Which is what's happened in the last 3 games, to be fair.
Yeah. The longer we got into it, the more they started to trust the shape and know where each other were going to be. It made it a little bit easier. And LSC Anfield Reds saw today a team playing for the manager. Don't know about that. I thought the shape was good. They played for each other. They played for the manager. Yeah, I understand that point. But I saw a manager who didn't make many changes. Yeah. I saw a manager who looked at the game and saw, we're going to see this out for love and money. I thought we went too defensive. We went too defensive at 1-0 too early. And we invited the pressure on. And at 1-0, that could have gone sideways very quickly. You know, we saw it out, but we invited too much pressure on too early for me. The
playing for the manager thing, and I think this is where the question marks will come over Slot, is it's easy to play for the manager when you're winning, or if it's a game which, let's be honest, that game was largely comfortable. Partly because of Liverpool's making, partly because of the opposition we played. Playing for the manager is when it gets tough, when you go 1-0 down, or when you got to grind it out. And at the moment, apart from the first 5 games, Liverpool haven't shown a willingness, an ability, an option to grind it out when it gets tough. And I think we might see that in the next game, if I'm perfectly honest, because, you know, at the start of the season, we'd looked at this week and gone, oh, Sunderland at home, nice midweek game. We've now seen Sunderland, no joke. They come from 2-0 behind against Bournemouth and beat Bournemouth 3-2. You know, so Sunderland, I know it's at Anfield, is going to be an interesting task for us. I think that will be a good test for what responses the manager get out of this team, because he's not going to make too many changes. Like, you know, the elephant in the room is, when does Salah come back into the side? You know, based on today's performance, he probably doesn't. But there's only so long you can get that will go on before that becomes a moment. And all it takes is, and listen, Sky were waiting for it today, West Ham to score, guarantee the first camera goes on Salah. Your best, you know, arguably your best striker for the last 8 years is on the bench. And you just look, that story's there to be written, and it is what it is. You know, based on current form, look, Salah can't really complain for not being picked today. And to be fair to him, the lads he's put in the attack have played well.
The thing is, 4 games in 10 days, you have an option. You have an option that you can use on the right. Use it. I was during the first half, and I said it to you guys, I don't know what Chiesa has to do to get into this side, because there were times with Gakpo on the left-hand side, that first half, I was pulling my hair out, because he was driving me absolutely fucking up the wall with some of his dribbling, his passing.
His
passing was atrocious. Yeah, he couldn't trap a bag of cement. Like, yeah, he couldn't hold the ball up. He couldn't trap a bag of cement, and he couldn't take his full back on. It just looked like he was living in his own head, kind of like what Kanate was doing for a long time. He looked like he just hated the football, you know. And look, perseverance, fair play to him. Yeah, he got a goal and assist. Lovely, delighted for the guy. But for that first half, I was pulling my hair out watching. He was so frustrating.
Yeah, listen, I thought you'd get hooked at halftime, and I thought you'd get hooked about 10 minutes into the second half, because if we're talking second half, the first 10 minutes, I thought West Ham looked better. I actually felt like we again started poorly, actually, after a half time, and that had a season. We don't start second half, first 10 really well, and if I'm honest, a better side than West Ham would have at least asked a few more questions. Listen, we rode it out, but again, that's a question mark over the manager, is what's happening at half time, because we don't start second half well at all.
Yeah, I mean, it does make you wonder what Slot's saying at halftime. I mean, I think we went from about 65% possession in that first half. We dropped down to 50% possession in that second half. And Slot has come out and said a couple of times, you know, that maybe it's better if we sit off a little bit and let them have the ball. And in this particular game, it felt like maybe it's not the right game to do that. Because we did have, I thought we were pretty controlled in the first half. I know that we're all kind of sitting here saying, you know, it's not perfect, but I thought we looked more controlled. I thought the passing looked better. It was a little bit slow, you know, and I think that, again, Kev touched on that about how, you know, players are just, they don't want to make a mistake. But I was okay with the first half. The second half felt like almost like we were trying to invite a little bit of pressure to gain some space. And Kev, you pointed out a little bit later in the game, I don't want to jump too far forward, that our fullbacks went from kind of being really high, all of a sudden they dropped back. And that's where we invited the pressure. And I made the point to you, I'm like, is this protecting what we have, or is it foolish? You responded saying, I think it's foolish because, you know, we're inviting too much pressure, basically. And we didn't have the same kind of outball. We didn't have the same kind of control. So I think it was kind of a confluence of things that happened in that second half that made it look a little bit less fluid. But, you know, I don't want to move off of the first half too fast, because I do think that, you know, we have to talk about what they're doing well. We've talked ad nauseum about the things that they're doing poorly. I thought in that first half, the way that Kirkez and Gomez were able to get up the flanks, put those crosses in, I thought that was Liverpool of old a little bit. That was providing service. There were not people at the end of it. I mean, Florian Wirtz, I imagine, is pulling his hair out, given the number of really wonderful crosses that he put in as well. There were a lot of chances there. There were a lot of chances that were going across the face of the goal without the right runner. And that kind of comes back to the Gakpo comment, where it felt very much like Isak and Gakpo were occupying the same space. They didn't really have chemistry. They haven't figured out each other's runs yet. That'll take time, but that front line just, it's better, but it's not fluid. It's not, that's not a Liverpool front line yet. Maybe it'll become that in the long run. But watching that, I mean, I felt like they couldn't hit a barn door in that first part of the first part of the game. I was like, there's the chances are there. The chances were there, and they couldn't have been better. And you saw, I don't know, like the finishing. I don't know if you guys felt this way as well, but some of the finishing was just like more head and hand stuff. And it felt like how when Darwin last year just got into that rut where he couldn't score for love nor money. And
yeah.
It has, I said this in a chat the other day, and I feel the same way. It's like everyone has kind of got a case of the Darwins, where it's like they've lost their confidence, they've lost their ability to kind of find the net, all of those things. And I felt like that was continuing today. And I mean, thank God for Isak having that moment, because otherwise I think it could have quite easily been just a really drab 0-0 game. I think we needed that breakthrough. And I mean, you're right, Chris. You mentioned, the players playing for the manager. Part of that is, confidence, and getting the first goal builds that confidence. Had we gone down, I don't know if we would have seen that. I don't know if even this group of players would have done that, even with the new, influx of Wirtz and Gomez. I think we could have quite easily seen a collapse there. But we got to take it for what it is. We have to kind of touch on the little positives before we kind of touch on all the negatives, because the negatives are still there.
I think the first half, Isak made himself a good chance. Areola had a really good save. But he did well to get the shot off. It was point blank, but Areola was right on top of it. Got a good save. The one where Florian Wirtz gets in and gets a shot off, he has to score that. That's 8 yards out. He doesn't get a good connection on it, and Areola makes a save. He really should be doing better with that. The other chance wasn't really a chance. It was about 10 yards outside the penalty box, and he whips it and has, I think it's probably a conversion for a try kind of thing. It went that high and wide. But that was it, for the sweet sum of what? We dominated possession, limited West Ham to absolutely 0 shots on target whatsoever at home. Like I said, defensively we were fine. It was slow in the build-up, but it was definitely a work in progress, where you could definitely see the players are still figuring out what position on the pitch each other needs to be in to get the best out of each other. And it's going to be like that for a while. And when you're not playing with confidence, it adds up, so. What's this? Kev is dubbed like a Bruce Lee film on my stream. I strongly suggest you log out and log back in, Sunshine, and see how you get on with it. Can't help you there, Sunshine. But no, I just think first half 1-0 or 0-0, but you felt we're not losing this. I never felt under threat from West Ham in any way. Even when they had possession, they were ineffective in it. I didn't think they were able to do much with it. So it was just a matter of time. But it needed a bit of quality. It needed a bit of quality in the passing, accuracy. And it took a while for it to come. It was really frustrating. Ashley's after going for a spin. Right, Chris, I don't know what's going on here at the minute. Yeah, so I mean, look, get to halftime.
I thought
it's not.
I thought it was my Wi-Fi, to be honest, because mine went really slow. So I thought it was me, to be honest. That's why I kept quiet.
Not. I think, listen, for anyone who's having problems in the chat, I honestly think a lot of the problems we're getting at the minute is due to the fact that it's nearly 5 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon when the whole world is streaming Arsenal Chelsea at the same time, and it does cause problems with people's bandwidth and stuff. So I think it might be a YouTube problem more than anything else. I mean, look,
we'll keep going. Let's go into the second half. I'm a little confident because you saw my message, because I was still like chimped out a little bit, and I've just like, yeah, West Ham have done nothing, and just this little thought, you can't help it, like going, West Ham have done nothing all game. Oh, they're gonna fucking get a 1-0 stupid corner, because that's the rut we're in at the moment. But luckily, we didn't do any of that, which is a nice change. Let's be honest.
One thing I will say, Konate did it a few times today. If in doubt, play it out. Where he gave away throw-ins, went out for corners a few times, didn't care. Once you can reset and then defend with the ball in front of you, you're grand. You're not going to get beaten in the air by this West Ham side. Not unless someone really messes up badly. It also helped having Joe Gomez as a right back who is a centre back who is good in the air. So I never felt like the corners that we defended, I thought we defended them really well. Ali came for a couple as well, cleared his lines, punched really well. Even when Gomez rattled his ribs a bit, I was like, when he was down, what was your first thing when Allison went down holding his ribs? Were you like, oh, not again?
He's off again. he's off again.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. That's it. That's Ali.
Yeah.
That's Ali done for another 3 weeks. He does one game every 3 months. Yeah. Luckily, it wasn't too serious. I think going forward, and I think it's not even hindsight. We've said this for a while, and maybe this is part of the point of buying looking for a Guehi, is you could flip that the other way. You could play Guehi at left back if we had him, and then you could play the more advanced attacking fullback on the right, which could be Bradley, could be Frimpong. It doesn't really matter. I kind of feel that's probably the way to get the best balance. Dave T said, Chris is fine, though. He's Mr. Dependable. I think I've been called many things, Dave T. That's one thing I've never been called. I can't repeat what Ashley calls me in the chat because it's even worse. But yeah, so
she does say she'll see you next Tuesday.
She does say that quite a lot. And I keep going, we'll see you next Tuesday. I don't know what she means.
No idea.
I don't know what's going on.
Anyway,
hi guys. Sorry about that.
You're back?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a snowstorm here, so the service is kind of.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Sorry
cool.
about that.
Oh, you're sorry. You're on your travels again, are you?
Yeah, I'm up on a mountain.
Yeah, not that we're jealous or anything.
Sorry. I mean, I'm surrounded by 3 children under 7 years old. There's nothing to be jealous about. Don't worry, you're fine.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. Have the scars.
Okay. What did I miss?
We get into the second half. We ride out the first. I'd say they come out with a bit of purpose about them. They control the first probably 5-10 minutes where we struggled. We didn't really struggle to get out, but they had a bit more of the ball. We were more in our shape, and I think we were comfortable in that shape as well, and defended a couple of corners. And as O'Sheen points out, Joe Gomez's long throw ended up leading to our first goal. And it come off the back of them having a fair bit of sustained pressure in for that 5-10 minute period. But I mean, how did you? I was delighted for Alexander Isak because it was a really good finish.
He needed it. He needed it so badly.
He needed it so bad. Yeah, he needed it badly. But it was more Florian Wirtz creating the space with he manipulated the defender by not really playing the ball. He almost like rolled the ball, flicked it, and into Cody, who hit it back into a space more than anything. But I thought it was a really clean hit. And it was very similar to the hit he had the other night against Eindhoven, where when he hits it, he's got such a clean contact with the ball. The Eindhoven one, the keeper got down and saved it, but it was a shot out of nothing. He doesn't have much of a backlift. It's the same today. He doesn't really look like he gets much power on the ball, but he does. That ball stayed hit, and Areola wasn't getting to it.
Yeah, Fowler was very good, that type of finish. The instinctive side for that. Fowler was a bit of an architect of that as well. So just looked like a number 9 finish, which, to be honest, we've been screaming out for most of the season.
I think that's 7 hours that he's been on the pitch for Premier League games only without a goal. So it took him 7 hours to get that goal. But we know that he has that in him. We do. It's just a matter of getting him up to fitness because he still doesn't look fit to me. I mean, that's a great finish. And yes, he gets a lot of power on it, but he still doesn't look fit. His running is still not there. I mean, I didn't realize, I guess maybe because I wasn't following Newcastle kind of with any sort of diligence last year, but I didn't realize how few games he actually played, kind of going all the way back to February of last year. He played very, very little. And so not only did he not have a preseason, not only did the whole summer kind of get screwed up, but even going all the way back to last February. So it's almost like you're taking a player, almost like someone that had an ACL and getting them back up to fitness. And that's kind of what you have to look at with Isak, where it's like, he's there, but you're not watching Alexander Isak. And that's kind of where last week, and I don't want to sound like I'm going from one side to the other, last week I asked the question, like, was he the right purchase for the team? And, I've had some time to think about it. And does he feel like the right purchase for this team at this moment? Probably not. But in the long run, if we can really work on him and get him up to fitness, and like I said, treat him like a player that's coming back almost like from an ACL, and think about, can we just get him to 100% for next year and hope that between now and then we get little glimpses? I think that that's probably how I'm going to try to judge him. Because if I judge him as the British record transfer signing and not hitting the ground running and all these things, all of that feels like we're taking a little bit of the context out of the conversation. Like if we were getting a perfectly fit Alexander Isak that had no issues whatsoever and we got him from Newcastle, I would expect a hell of a lot more. But the more that I think about it and the more that I try to kind of use a little bit of the logical side of my brain, the more I realize that that's not who we have right now. Right now we have a player that's kind of going through this really extended rehab program. And if we can see glimpses like today, that's fantastic. I hope that we see more of that.
Yeah, it was a good finish, a good goal, instinctive goal, as people are saying in the chat there. Ultimately, Jono makes a point here. The team needs to be built around Florian Wirtz. Anytime you watch him play, he's not stuck in one position. We've known since we've signed him, it's like we've never watched him before getting him. I get where he's coming from, and I think that is kind of what's going to happen. I think over the next couple of windows, you're going to see this side built around the 10s, and whoever is, be it Szoboszlai and Wirtz, be it anyone else that we bring in, it's going to be in and around those players, and they're going to be used as your main providers. And it's all about creating space for them to play in. The good thing today, I thought, with Dominic and with Florian, they never tried to be in the same place. They were close enough to each other that they could play off each other, but far enough away that they were constant. West Ham couldn't just say, okay, block off this area, and that closes off all of our attacking threats. There were times there when Szoboszlai was pulling out onto the wing and the ball was on to find him. But no, it never went there. But at the same time, West Ham couldn't ignore him. And so it pulled their fullback out of the way, which exposed their centre-back on their left-hand side. And that it's those little intricacies that you'll see more and more. The more they play together, those two will create so many spaces for each other. And it's something Matt used to say a lot when he was talking about the hockey assist. Wirtz seems to be that guy. He'll get his fair share of assists himself and his goals and that. But he'll be the guy who gives the pass before the pass. He's the orchestrator. He's going to be the one who's manipulating situations. And the more he plays, Chris, I think you made the point, he's physically, after getting bigger,
He's 2.5.
He's putting on more
2.5 kilos of lean muscle. They said he's put on.
Yeah,
which I kind of feel like a lot of wingers who move to the Premier League go through that. Look at Salah after the shoulder pop in the Champions League final. He came back an absolute monster. That may be something that's holding Chiesa back a little bit, the physicality side. Looks like Chelsea are down.
I wouldn't know because I haven't seen it. I couldn't care less about Chelsea, to be honest. It's
just flashed up there. I've just seen them. It's gone to review for a red card. To be fair, it's a
red card. I don't care.
It is. He got sent off, so whatever.
Yeah, it's not our problem.
Our problem's here.
You talk about Chiesa. I mean, for me, the problem with Chiesa is Arne Slot won't put him on the pitch.
He doesn't trust him.
It's as simple as that. He won't play him. For whatever reason, there's 2 or 3 players that he won't play. And by not playing them, given the fact that we've got injuries all around the park, he's putting added pressure on players who are already carrying knocks. And
it's already a small squad.
Yeah.
And he's making it smaller. He's making it smaller.
Exactly that.
I mean, the frustration is, listen, Cody Gakpo says, look, he's got an assist, he's got a goal, so the manager will say he's justified in selecting him, but neither winger has been in good form. Gakpo and Salah have been off form for a while this season, so there was an element of, even if you don't trust Chiesa, you may as well throw everything in. He can't be any worse because the other 2 wingers haven't been doing it. So I may as well give him a go for an hour.
I mean, maybe we'll see that. Maybe we'll see it coming up. But honestly, I was okay with we've had situations in the past where Slot's made too many changes. And I think that the number of changes that he made today is probably the most that I want to see happen. If you start incorporating more than that, we could just be sitting here having this conversation where we're like, he threw the balance off. It was too many changes. It's like we're trying to have our cake and eat it too. I understand and I agree that Chiesa probably deserves time, but do I want Chiesa getting time behind Florian Wirtz, who's just coming back from injury, where they don't really have any chemistry, next to Szoboszlai, who's kind of playing out of position? Like, I don't know if it's the right game for it. There are big games.
I think
we're talking in general, though, aren't we?
Yeah.
There are other games.
I'm not talking about specifically today.
If you switch on the pitch, I'm okay with that. I also
my frustration is you've got guys there who, I mean, look, Florian Wirtz comes off today, right? He comes off. We're in a shell. We're in our shell. We don't have an out ball. We don't have someone who can carry the ball up the pitch. We're saying that Hugo was taken off with a back problem. He comes on. And you're like, okay, you didn't have to bring him on, but you're saying, okay, if he's got an issue, if he had an issue with his back and he's coming on, and you're leaving perfectly fit players on the bench, that means, was there a back issue? Wasn't there? Who knows? But he brings Jones on, and for whatever reason, I don't like Jones playing that 10 role. It's a long time since he was in the youth team when he used to do that.
If we needed a role, like someone to play that role, we could have kept Harvey Elliott.
Yeah.
But, I know. But what I'm saying is we still tried to use Curtis Jones in that second striker, that number 10 role. But the truth is, if you're going to bring Curtis Jones on, you bring him on from McAllister. You bring him on deep. That's his position.
I think McAllister actually might do well in that 10 role. He used to be that 10.
He used to be a striker. He used to be a striker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we see him do it for Argentina. We used to see it with Brighton all the time. He was Brighton's top goal scorer for a season, I think.
I mean, real talk said Curtis Jones did a good job replacing Wirtz. Do you think so? I thought it was atrocious. He kept giving the ball away. He couldn't hold it up.
My thoughts when I saw how Jones played, I'm quite a big fan of Jones, but after his outburst against PSV, I was thinking, like, don't be funny, mate. You need to look in the mirror if you think coming on and playing like that's gonna show anything. Because I was like, you
mind that. I thought
he was sloppy on the ball, man.
That's kind of what I needed from a fan, though. Like, even if it wasn't appropriate from a player, I feel like I needed that as a fan. I needed to hear someone on that team come out and kind of show the same level of passion that you're hearing from fans, for example.
But for balance, the interview before PSV, Van Dijk, after the Forest loss, Van Dijk did a very similar calling everyone out. We need to pull ourselves up, get ourselves out of this trouble. drops a shocker against PSV. Jones does the same thing.
But he didn't drop a shocker against PSV.
Well, he did for the third goal.
Fine.
He didn't track back for a third goal. But again, that's his
big whoop. But for the rest of the game, he was absolutely fine.
No, but then you bring it into a game. The next game he's brought into is this one, and he can't pass water.
But his actual passing stats were fine. But it was the point is for me, Curtis Jones is a player. You play from deep. You don't play him as a 10. When you have options there, you could have brought Salah on. You could have brought Salah on and just said, right, look, stay out there and we'll use you as an elbow. They were down to 10 men at this stage.
Yeah. That's why I thought he might have thrown Chiesa on or Salah just because it's a pace option. Just all I want you to do is just say to Van Dijk, just clip it down the wing and just say to him, just run it.
Yeah. I don't get it. And look, I love Curtis Jones as a footballer. And the thing is with Curtis Jones, for me, I think Curtis Jones is a really good footballer. When the ball is at his feet and he's got the game in front of him, he can dictate the play. But for me, he's a 6. You know what I mean? He's not a defensive 6. He's in the same kind of mold as a Gravenberch, where he can get on the ball and keep it simple and move the ball around. When we were 1-0 up, and what I was saying to Ashley was, before we went 1-0 up, our 2 fullbacks, Joe Gomez, Kirkes, went high and wide. And a second we went 1-0 up, it was about 70 minutes that I clocked it. The 2 fullbacks tucked back in. They were deep. We didn't have an out ball on the wings.
That was fair, that was.
And the 2 wingers were isolated. That invited the pressure on. And at the end of the day, all it takes is one mistake. One mistake, one Ibu Konate moment where the ball bounces and it goes up over his head and he just loses the run of himself and Jarrod Bowen is in.
Yeah. I think,
do you know what I mean? You're that away. We didn't need to invite that kind of pressure onto ourselves, is my point.
I think, especially when they went down to 10, I think you saw absolute fear in Liverpool then.
Yeah.
Because it was generally like, we can't lose this. And we're 1-0 up, we've lost too many games, 2 points being ahead. And then I think when they go down to 10, which we'll talk about the red card in a minute, I think you saw absolute fear for 10 minutes. Where they're like going like, oh, fucking hell. You know, we definitely can't lose it now. And it was just like, as soon as the ball's like a grenade then, just give it away. I don't want it anywhere near me. And look, you can get that because, you know, we've lost 9 of our last 12 games and we've lost a lot of points from winning position. So you can understand the fear. It doesn't help my anxiety, yours or Ashley's, when we're going, can you just put your foot on the ball, please? But you can understand it. Let's talk about the red card though. So I've seen a few replays of it. It looks like the first yellow is for a foul on Szoboszlai where it was kind of a totting up process. Whether it's totting up by Paqueta or I think it was more totted up by West Ham where they've said, we've had 3 or 4 now on Szoboszlai. It was almost like the next foul on them is going to be a yellow. So, look, it was a yellow in a undangerous area. It was just a foul. You know, maybe felt the yellows are harsh, but it is. But then he went at the ref. He kept going at the ref. Alisson grabs him away. His own cat push away. And he goes back again. The fact he went back 2 or 3 times at the ref and then gets a stupid second yellow, which basically kills the game for West Ham in all real terms.
I bet you £1 to a penny that Nuno is going to be really pissed off. I'd lay good money that is going to be Nuno Espirito Santo's final straw. I bet you that he's going to throw the cat out the bags. I bet you anything that this is going to be war.
Yes.
It's funny, you're using the word bet quite a lot there.
Quite a
I
lot.
think that there might be something going on there.
I bet you might be onto something there.
Let's be clear. He was
without
cleared.
perjuring ourselves.
Without perjuring, he was cleared. he was cleared of not betting on his own team. Right? He was cleared of that. But having that cloud over you, it was such an odd red card. And I know players with his head, but it was just such an odd second yellow to get, as in like he just went and went. It looked like goading the ref. I bet you won't send me. I bet you won't send me.
It was very weird. Like it was
such
weird
an
that
odd reaction.
he got his piece in. The ref kind of let him. Honestly, the ref let him get away with quite a bit there. The number of times that he went after Darren England, kind of just in his face, which they can't do that anymore. Like he could have done that once and gotten a yellow card. The fact that he did it 3 or 4 times after being held back, and he did it like with a smirk on his face the entire time, which was, I think, what was the weirdest part. It didn't feel like he was seeing red. We've seen that with players where they see red and they just kind of lose their head. Like he looked like he was in complete control, and then like the slow clap as he was going off, almost like in that sarcastic nature. And the whole thing was just sort of.
We've seen enough football that, and we've always said sometimes when a player gets a yellow and they gob off at the ref, they keep gobbing off. You go, he should get a second yellow for that. Refs never do it. It very rarely happens.
I mean, he must have
he's pushed the ref to that. Must have been at least 3 times he went back to him.
That being said, I feel like he's done this before. Like he's gotten sent off from dissent before. Like he is a bit of a hothead. It just the manner of this felt really off. But I think that's in his nature. He's one of those that wouldn't have passed the Klopp dickhead test. In my opinion.
I promise you this: it's going to be investigated by the betting companies.
Probably.
The betting companies are going to look at the markets to see if there's any irregularities. And look, they do it with every red card of this nature.
Any sort of big or unusual situation.
Anything that looks anywhere near off. This does not pass the sniff test for me. Look, he was cleared.
It just felt off. Everything about it felt off.
He was cleared, but I'm telling you, that looked and smells all kinds of wrong. If I was a West Ham fan there, I am absolutely tamping. He's going to be missed. He's only going to get a 1-game suspension. But the way he applauded and sarcastically applauded all the way off and went up to the fourth official and giving him verbals as well. Don't be a bit surprised if the FA add or the Premier League add.
I know he's back from a 5-game. I know he's back from a 5 yellow card ban.
Yeah.
Back from 1. But I didn't know if that was his first red of the season or his second.
That's his first red of the season.
First red. So it
was 2 yellows and a red. So I would be gobsmacked if this isn't investigated. I know it'll be investigated by the betting companies, but
because all three of us in our chat went, it's just an odd. Everything about this is odd. It just felt off.
Odd, man. It just, we can't say what say what you see. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
What was it?
Blockbusters.
Say what you see.
Have you read Paqueta's statement?
Nope.
Can I read it to you?
Please.
Okay.
Of course you can.
So he says, I understand that now I have to come across as the villain. It's hard to live with everything that was caused in my life and in my psyche. I keep trying to ensure that they don't affect me even more. This doesn't justify my expulsion, and that's why I apologize to the fans and my teammates. It's ridiculous to have your life and career affected for 2 years without any psychological support from the Federation. Perhaps this ridiculous behavior is just a reflection of everything I've had to endure, and it seems have to continue enduring. I'm sorry if I'm not perfect.
All aboard the pity bus. Build the bridge and get over yourself.
Portuguese, so there may be something that's lost with Google Translate or whatever. But
I'll tell you what. Paqueta is probably on about $100,000 a week. Go and buy yourself some support. Go and hire a psychologist if that's what you think you need for the last 2 years to help you build a bridge and get over yourself and your fucking ego. Who the fuck do you think you are? There are real people out there suffering from real mental health issues, and you've got the temerity to come onto social media after being sent off for being a petulant little child.
Well, one of those was a direct response to Sky. So Sky put out the second half of that quote. Sky put out a tweet that said, it's ridiculous behavior from Paqueta. And that second half was a direct reply to Sky Sports.
What an absolute... No, I can't, because if I really say what I'm going to say, it's early in the day.
I don't know. It's just, again, quirky. Doesn't make any sense.
Come back to me in 24 hours.
A few marbles.
Come back to me in 24 hours. That's a complete disgrace. Let's just leave it there.
I think in 24 hours something else will come out. But going back to the game, Kev, did you think Bowen's shot was in as he hit it? I must admit.
Bearing in mind 7 minutes.
Bearing in mind the player and his ability.
My heart was in my mouth.
It could have fell to anyone else. Anyone else in the pitch, I wouldn't have been worried about it. I think he's a quality player. I think he's a very, very good player. I expected him to score there. That was a really, really good chance. And in any game, 10 minutes to go, you're 1-0 down. You will get a chance. It's up to you to take it. And that was the chance.
I generally thought as soon as he hit it, it was like slow motion. As he hit it, he went, oh no. So I can't believe
anyone else.
Yeah.
Anyone else would have been like, oh yeah, okay, you want him shooting from there, not him. He that's his range. He scores from there a lot.
and he's done that before. Comes out of nothing, and he's got that quality. But actually, let's talk about the second goal, which, to be fair, came attack from Liverpool. Szoboszlai chased it down to stop the keeper being able to pick it up. Lays it back to Joe Gomez, who clips it into the box. And to be fair to Cody, nice touch on the chest, nice finish. Thank fuck for that. Game over. First 3 points in ages. Let's go. Let's all go home. It just felt like that. But the interesting was the reaction of all the players. It wasn't euphoria like, yes, that's it. That's what we get. It looked like relief. It just looked like, thank fuck. Right, that's first win. That's first win down. Now we need to go on to the next one. There wasn't the over exuberance of a win, wasn't it? Let's be honest, it's a big win for the manager.
No, I'm okay with that. How we've talked about Arsenal in the past when they have like an equalizer and they celebrate an equalizer like they're winning a World Cup. Or I don't know, like for this, I don't want them to celebrate like they're suddenly winning a World Cup. Like it was a mediocre performance. It was better, but you should be beating West Ham. You should be beating West Ham. I'm glad that they felt that moment of relief, though, because I do think that, Klopp has always used the analogy of carrying a backpack with you, and I feel like their backpacks are really, really fucking heavy right now. And if this can help them take a few rocks out of that backpack.
Wardrobe at the moment.
What?
It's a fucking wardrobe at the moment. It's not a backpack.
They're basically driving around. It's kind of like what I look like in my with my luggage in the airport. Like I look like I'm a pack mule. And that's kind of what they've looked like in the past. But yeah, if that can help them get that little bit off their shoulders, fantastic. Same thing with the Isak goal. If that can help him get a little bit off his shoulders, fantastic. Like, I don't remember the last time that Gakpo scored. I don't think it's particularly recently. It's got to be about maybe 10 games or so ago. So for him to find a little bit of form with a goal and assist, like, I know they don't look great, but again, tiny little things that you can build on. And the manager needs that. The more that I've read coming out of whether it's, the Times or the Athletic or, from FSG themselves, it does sound like they're going to stick with the manager for a little while. And so if he's going to be there, they need these little kernels to build off of. So yeah, Madge says they look a little bit sheepish. I think they probably do. I think they know just as well as we do that they are, not their best and brightest selves,
And they see it. They see it on social. And if they don't see it on social media themselves, they're being told about it. Arne Slot, 100%, is being told what's being said about him on social media because he talks about it. He openly talks about it to the press. I've been criticized for this decision, for that decision. I've been criticized for this substitution, that substitution, or not making a substitution. The only way you know that is if you're being told by somebody what's being said about you online. And when you start trying to appease people online, you're on a slippery slope. I honestly expected, I was really surprised to hear him talking about it, to be honest, because you want people to shut that part of it out of their lives completely. You'd think they'd know by now. They don't need the money. They don't need to have an online profile once you're at a top club. Just forget about it.
I think it's just the generation that they're in.
I know it is.
It's so hard to kind of.
There's nothing positive out of it. There's nothing positive to be gained by it, and especially from a player's point of view, there's absolutely nothing positive to be gained by having a social media presence whatsoever. There's nothing to be gained from it.
I mean, they're almost all in their 20s, and that they're all kind of doing that no matter what.
I know.
But yeah,
it was still a good finish. It was still a good goal.
It was a good goal, to be fair.
First instinct, I thought someone was offside when the way that the ball fell.
I was so upset when you texted that. I'm like, what do you mean they're offside?
Yeah, I just looked at it. It's like, that looks wrong.
They said
no, it doesn't. It's fine.
Because they thought it went off of his arm, and I'm like, what? Yeah. Like, please no. Yeah.
It was a nice cross by Gomez to find him, though.
Mm-hmm.
And look, Mavropanos missed it. He does well to control it on his chest, get it down, and kills the ball. He kills the ball, and that's the key to it. His control kills the ball. It was a good finish. And the first thing I typed into our group was, thank you. It was literally,
I needed that.
Relax. We can enjoy the last few minutes and just chill, because even when they had 10 men, they were looking the more likely. We looked like we couldn't maintain any kind of possession. We were afraid to spread out. and keep the ball, because one mistake and you could lose it. So we played with, definitely, I think your backpack analogy is really good. It hopefully that'll be a bit lighter for Wednesday night against Sunderland at Anfield. Needs to be.
Until Liverpool get on a run of,
but it'd be nice, this
3
time.
wins, 4 wins, 5 wins. I think then you see that bit more.
For example, if you're talking about the difference between today and next Sunday, and you're talking you're 9 points better off. Suddenly you're going into Christmas.
Right now, I think, Chris, you said we're 3 points off the top 4. We're 4 points off City. Like,
doesn't feel it, but we are.
It doesn't feel it. But the way that the football world can just flip on its head in a week is crazy. And I'm not saying we're going to get back into any sort of anything. But mood music can change.
A good week can really, especially the way the league's going. With the exception of Arsenal, we're quite far ahead of everyone. A good week, you'll rocket up the league quite quickly, and you feel better about yourself.
I mean, I feel better even just watching this. Like, that was an away victory, which we have been atrocious away. I think that's the first points that we've gotten in London all season. Yeah. West Ham, despite the fact that they're garbage, had won the last couple of games at home. I think they had 3 in a row. They also came back from their last 2 games. They came back from a goal down. So I was sitting there writing down these stats, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, like, they're going to come back and they're going to crush it. So the fact that none of that happened, it's just tiny little increments that you can build on. And, hopefully Sunderland being at home will be helpful. Hopefully the fans will feel a little bit of a boost from this as well. I mean, the traveling fans were fantastic today, by the way. I want to give them a shout because they were singing.
I do think of this week. Yeah, they were singing the Manager's Day, but I think of this week, Sunderland's the most difficult of the 3 games.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's not even a question.
Sunderland's the game where you're going like, all their strengths will play on all of our weaknesses that we've had this season, and that's a. I think that'll be a good. I actually think that'll be a good step. I think they come out of that with a win, and ideally a performance that may start changing a few minds. I mean, John makes a good point here as well. When we talked before about the manager, is we all should know by now. FSG on football decisions do not get pressured to make any decision outside doors. They don't.
No. I mean, they'll be looking for contingencies. Don't get me wrong; they are absolutely doing that. But if I was putting money on it, if I was Paqueta, I would probably be saying that Slot sticks around at least until January at the very, very minimum. I know it doesn't feel that way. But
it's 3 points. It's 1 win away.
I know, but
we need to back it up now.
I don't
That's
know.
what I mean. I think that's probably the pressure is under. I'm sure that conversation he had with the board. I think he's been given a particular target.
Yeah.
By this point, you need to be on here, and if you fall short here, or here, that's you done. I think it'd be like a proper business appraisal sort of thing. This is the point total you have to be on by this point. And if we have this level of performance in these games, you're gone. I mean, that's why I think we all thought he was gone, because the level of performance second half against PSV, especially at 2-1 down, and then at what we saw against Forest, you were like going, fucking hell, you can't have too many of them. 3 games in a row conceding over 3 is not.
It's not okay. Good. And today doesn't change the opinion. It doesn't change the opinion.
No, it's still on worse. It's still on worse runs since the 70s. In 70 years, I think they said. Sorry. So it's a pretty shite way to be at the moment. So we hoped with Villa and Real Madrid, this will be a stepping stone.
Don't say it.
It's a stepping stone in the right direction.
Exactly.
That's what we want. That's what we want it to be. But to be a stepping stone in the right direction, you want to be sat here boxing. So 27th of December, going, fuck me, we're on a good run now.
Yeah.
That's what you want to be.
To read the quotes while you guys think about
sure.
Man in the match and everything like that?
Go on, put you in charge.
All right. Let me just pull them up. Hold on.
Dave T. Search those Mackhams for inflatable beach balls. Oh, that's one from the past. Remember that?
Oh,
Darren Bent's goal.
God.
That is the most Liverpool goal ever. That was like, only Mika could see the goal for fucking. The funny thing is, Pepe Reina tries to save the beach. Pepe Reina tries to save the beach ball.
I love
the beach ball from our own fans, which is even funnier.
Explain that to his wife. Because his wife, Buffy was in the background watching that goal, and she's like, surely that doesn't count. And then I think she was watching something else where there was like a a balloon on the pitch. And she was like, you know, don't people get confused? Like, isn't there, you know, surely that's going to confuse the keeper. And then Matt had to tell her the story, and it was fantastic.
I mean, she's also right, because technically it shouldn't have counted.
Of course it shouldn't have counted. Okay, I've got the quotes up now. So Alexander Isak was asked after the game. He said, I've been waiting for it and chasing it, the first Premier League goal. And sometimes it takes longer than you expect, but I'm happy to score a goal and help toward the win today. It's never easy. As a striker, you need to go through this. As a striker, you need momentum. Sometimes you need to go through these patches, but hopefully this will be helpful toward building good form. We defended really well and scored twice, so happy days. Then Arne Slot came out and he said, on dropping Mo Salah, we play a lot of games. In 10 days, we play 4. These players are such quality players. Mo has been so important for the club and will be so important for the club. So let's see what happens on Wednesday against Sunderland. On Alexander Isak, Slot said, he's a top striker. The finish was very good. I kept him in just long enough for him to get a goal for the team and for himself. Slot continues, a win, and that was what we mainly needed. And we got a clean sheet as well, which is always helpful. Not giving anything away to the other team as a gift, as we have done far too many times this season. The other team hardly created a chance except in the final minute through Bowen. Let's see. On Isak's first Premier League goal, and whether it was a significant moment, he says, yep, I think it is a significant moment. I wasn't planning to give him any more minutes before bringing him off. He continues, what I saw meant a lot to our players and our fans. The fans had to travel a long way to support the team that has been performing poorly. On Wednesday, we face Sunderland. It's a very busy schedule for everyone. This is a first good step for us that we won and had a clean sheet. He said, it helps if you don't go 1-0 down after 5 minutes because then you're more open. We played the game I wanted us to play. There's definitely a feeling of relief because if you've lost so many times, then winning is important. We hardly conceded a chance. We were able to create chances ourselves. In other games, we gave away a lot more than we did today. Yeah, that's about it. And then Isak just basically said, we have to stay humble. One win doesn't mean we're back. We have to keep working.
Spot on.
So
it's the nail on the head.
That's probably the takeaway quote.
Yeah, exactly. It's 3 points against, and they'll know it as well because they'll have felt it. West Ham are poor. You know, they know that West Ham are soft today. And look, people can use it. West Ham fans probably won't. They'll look at it and think, above all days, to throw in a performance like that. One thing, rest in peace, Billy Bonds. I remember Billy Bonds being part of the West Ham side who won the FA Cup in 1980 with Trevor Brooking. Harry Redknapp played in it. Frank Lampard Sr. Remember him being in it as well. You know, he was just like Mr. West Ham. You know, so many games. He was captain for donkey's years. I think he took over the captaincy from Bobby Moore. And he was captain up until he played his last game. And then he took over as manager in 1990. From 1990 to 94, he was their manager as well. So, like, they have a stand named after him. And, you know, there was a minute's applause at the start. Done really well. And for them to throw in that kind of a performance and top it off with Paqueta getting sent off the way he did, they must be seething. They really must. You know, it was one of those weird days at the office where our lads would have known what West Ham were up to today, or West Ham were at, and we got the 3 points, we got the clean sheet. They'll take the confidence from that, but it's literally they'll travel home tonight, rest day tomorrow, tactical day Tuesday, play Wednesday, and that's what it's going to be now. It's going to be rinse and repeat for the next, few weeks, basically, and it's going to be nonstop. Don't know. Still haven't seen it confirmed when Salah goes away, whether it's before or after Spurs, but it's not long away now, so I don't expect him.
It might be after Inter if the
I think that's the game that's sort of in limbo. I think they want them. They want them there on the 8th of December, but they're trying to make it a little bit later. I don't think that's been confirmed yet, though. They're still kind of. It's him and I think Marmoush that are both trying to kind of get out of it. But before we wrap up, because the games have been so shit recently, we haven't done our man of the match, could do better, all that jazz, honorable mention. Do you guys just want to do that just because we actually have a win to talk about?
I think the man of the match for me is easy. I mean, for me, it's Florian Wirtz was our head and shoulders best player.
Yeah, me too. I this is man of the match.
Yeah, I think he showed glimpses today of what he's capable of.
I think that's as close to the Florian Wirtz that I thought we were signing that I've seen so far.
Yeah, I think he's still got a way to go, but it's definitely shown patches today of what he's capable of on the ball. His vision is ridiculously good.
Apparently, he's been training extra hours. He's been showing up to the gym earlier. Like you said earlier, he's put on 2.5 kilograms of lean muscle mass. So he's been doing a lot of work off of the pitch to get himself back. And I think that today, if today's the starting point, then I'm very, very excited. And I think, again, build the team around him. Yeah. And if this is the future, if we signed him for the future, then let's use him as the future. Let's not keep going backwards. Let's keep going forwards. And I hope kind of in the next couple of games we see something similar. Well, okay, so I
honorable mention, guys,
on that. Could do better. My honorable mention is going to be Joe Gomez. Because I think that he came in. I think that Ibu looked better because Joe Gomez was next to him as well. I think Ibu had a little bit better of a game today. But I think having Gomez there with that defensive head on him really helps. I loved the crossing that he was putting in. I thought he went up and down, like you were saying, with a lot of agility, given the fact that he, was supposedly quite injury prone or he's working with injections or whatever. But for me, when Joe Gomez is able to play, I'd like to see him play for a little while. Obviously managing his fitness so that, because right now we did see Kirkes go off with a little bit of an injury. So we're getting real thin back there in defensive lineups, but I thought he did really well.
My honorable mention would be the other fullback, Kirkes, who has not had an easy time at Liverpool. And I actually thought, not so much attacking wise, but I thought defensively, I thought he did really well. I mean, he had to defend against their best player in Bowen. Bowen's a fucking nightmare. And I mean that as a compliment. He's one of those players that I hate that we have to play against him because he always causes you trouble. So, credit where credit's due to Kirkes. I actually thought he had a good game against a very good player. So, I would give Kirkes honorable mention. But I have no problem with Gomez as the other mention.
I just like the way both of our fullbacks were working today. I liked the purpose behind it, and I liked the way that Slot set them up. They were actually doing what they're good at. They were actually carrying the ball out of the back. Which it's just like, wow, what a novel concept.
Which also takes the pressure off Canate, which hasn't always been his strength. Mm-hmm. It also hides one of Canate's weaknesses, which is a good thing. Who was your honourable mention, Kev?
Virgil. So defensively, he was solid. Won his aerial duels. Callum Wilson scored 2, I think, against Bournemouth last weekend. He definitely scored 1, if I can remember off the top of my head. Didn't have a snap. Put him in his pocket and kept him there all day.
Wilson tried to get under his skin when he elbowed him in the face.
Definitely
you saw him. That wasn't an accident. You saw.
No, he lined him.
Oh, he lined him up.
Yeah.
He lined him up big time and went straight for his throat. And again, you'll go on his podcast and have a little smile and a laugh and a giggle about it, about nailing him. At the end of the day, Van Dijk today showed how limited a player Callum Wilson is in this part of his career.
Did he get a shot off today?
No, he didn't. He's a German. He's a journeyman player who his best days were at Bournemouth. He showed flashes at Newcastle, and he's robbing a living there. And good luck to you. If a club is stupid enough to pay Callum Wilson money to play football, the club deserves everything it gets. But I thought Virgil today was good. I agree with you both that the 2 fullbacks was really good.
For me, could do better. I think it's Maka. I still don't think we're seeing the Maka we saw last year. I just still think I think when he got difficult, I think he was still the easiest one for them to run past out of the midfield 3. I just kind of thought of all the others. He wasn't great. Gakpo was in and out as Gakpo can be, but it's hard to say could do better when you get a goal and assist. So you kind of have to be a bit swag. But for
I
me,
think you could do better in the first half.
Yeah, I think game was overall.
Yeah,
I was surprised Maka did the full game, to be honest, because he would have been one I'd have took off with 20 to go. I mean, to be fair, I actually said I would have started Jones ahead of him, but he's the one who probably still kind of waiting to see the Maka we saw last year.
I think
the Maka we saw against Real Madrid.
I think you can make the argument that it was situational, 1-0 up. You want to see the game out, that you keep him on there, and you're adding. I wouldn't have minded him adding Jones and selling Jones to sit deeper, and maybe move McAllister a bit more forward, or
even Szoboszlai further forward.
Yeah, whatever way he wanted to do it. I just didn't like the way he did it. Yeah, look, I think ultimately we were decent, but it's such a low bar that we're coming from. That I'll take
a win is a win. A win is a win.
A win is a win. A clean sheet is like manna from heaven.
Yep.
And
what was our last clean sheet? Ashley, you must know that. You must know that, Ashley.
Oh God, off the top of my head.
I say you're our guru. Me and Kev just got vibes.
The last one that I can remember is Arsenal.
Was it Real Madrid? Well, yeah, it was Arsenal in the league. It was probably Arsenal. Probably was Arsenal in the league, actually. Was it Burnley away? Actually, it might have been Burnley away.
Burnley away. We definitely,
That was a 1-0.
That was 1-0. That was I think our last away points. Honestly, I think was Burnley away, which feels like a decade ago.
Feels like a different season, doesn't it?
Yeah. So honestly, great to have the clean sheet. Great to have Allison back in goal as well. And I think that contributes to the clean sheet as well. But yeah, I think it's got to be Burnley.
Yeah. Gakpo created most chances 3 and won the most duels 6 on the pitch today. Okay. I've got to admit, it didn't feel like that, but
the eye test, the eye test didn't.
The eye test didn't feel like that, but
no, it didn't.
It's amazing. Like that at all.
It's amazing how you can look at the game from a stats point of view, and then look at the game in a reality point of view. You watch the first half of the PSV game, and you come away and you're like, they didn't have a shot on target in the first half, apparently, apart from the penalty. In reality, it never looked like that. Not to me, it didn't.
I mean, that's what it's kind of felt like. That's what Slot has been falling back on, is the opposite, where he's like, look at our data, it's great. It's like, well, the performances don't look great.
Yeah,
Ocean's right. It was Villa, Madrid were back-to-back clean sheets.
Yeah, you're right.
You think we remember this? There haven't been that many of them.
It's all kind of turned into a blur.
They all just mash into one. Anyway,
they do. Let's
all go
before we go.
Watch the second half.
Like, subscribe, join the Patreon. QR code's there. Costs a pint a month, pretty much. It's a good laugh. We do lots of shows. We do Ref Watch, which Ashley is the queen of, and we find all sorts of...
I'm looking forward to going back and looking at
nonsense that comes out from the officials. It's definitely a red card. We'll talk about that though. And we also did a bit of fun as well. And also just stuff we could do behind the paywall, which you can't do on YouTube because we'll get struck off. Because we can do highlights of goals and everything and reverse them back and see what we think. Plus, it's always good to do one of these games 24 hours later with actual replays, not going off vibes, and see how you felt about it still is the same. Paul Kev's done the last 3 or 4 defeats, which is glut for punishment, to be honest. Me and Ashley were like, absolutely not.
I mean, I work on Mondays, so I can't, but
I was honest.
I'm sorry.
I was honest. I said, do you want to watch that game again? No. I was like, absolutely not. Once was, especially the Forest game, Kev, you watched that 3 times. Yeah. Me and Ashley did it twice, and that was enough.
You got to do it. No, you got to do it because it's like, look, when things are shite, and it's been a long time since things have been really bad. And I was saying it to you guys in the week. It's been 11 years since we've had a serious conversation about a manager's future.
Rodgers, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
11 years. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're not used to this. We're not used to questioning. And I mean, look, we all question Klopp at times, but we never did it seriously. We're definitely questioning Arne Slot at the minute. And this today, yeah, great, nice, happy days, good. Still, he's still going to be questioned. He's still under pressure, massive pressure. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, one swallow doesn't make a summer. It's like
I wish so.
He is under serious pressure still. We need to back this win up with another one in the week and finish it off next weekend. We need to put another 6 points on the board. At least it'll start to look somewhere respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But let's go home now because I'll be honest, the lights off Kev's tree is hurting my eyes now. So I'll be honest, I need to go and rest my eyes. It's blinding.
There you go. Told you. Buy
There you
some
go.
sunglasses, man. Ask Auntie.
Yeah. On that happy note, Kev, take us home.
Yeah. See you guys. Take care. Enjoy your Sunday.